Welcome back to Alpha Korean class. I'm Helena and this is the 2023 Speak Naturally in Korean Challenge. Today's lesson is the first video in a total of 10 for this challenge. And it is going to start with the self-introduction in Korean. This lesson series is completely free, but if you study with the organic Korean textbook, it will be much more effective to study natural and practical Korean expressions. You can get it on Amazon. Now, click the like button for me and don't forget to leave a comment. It's really helped me out. And now, let's get started. Some of you may believe that this topic is too easy or that you already understand it and may not give it much attention. However, introducing yourself is much more crucial than you realize. This is because it determines the initial expression that people have of you. At times, the first impression is more influential than you comprehend. Let's imagine you are in a new classroom and the teacher asks everyone to introduce themselves. This is your chance to make new friends from the start. And if you don't make a good impression, you might have a lonely semester. A good introduction is also important at casual events like parties to keep the conversation going and potentially become closer to someone you like. In career or life situation, a positive first impression is crucial too. For example, during a job interview in Korean, a good introduction can make the interviewer interested in you, but a bad one can cost you the position and hinder your career prospects. In this video, I will teach you how to introduce yourself well in Korean and leave a good first impression. If you watch the video until the end, you will gain the confidence to do a great self-introduction in Korean. And soon later, I will upload a speaking practice video on the same topic. You can think of it as a set with this lesson like a textbook and workbook. So by watching this video carefully and practicing through the next video, you will definitely gain more confidence in speaking Korean by the end of this series. So let's begin. Self-introduction basically start with a greeting. 안녕하세요. And this greeting is truly useful. You can use it anytime during the day with no problem, and you can say it to anyone, whether it is a formal or private setting, and whether it is someone you're meeting for the first time or a colleague that you see every day. This greeting is always good to use. But I have sometimes seen foreigners who have not studied Korean well and use 안녕 instead of 안녕하세요. What did you say? It's quite embarrassing for whoever is watching them. It is especially impolite if you say that to elders, so pay attention to that, okay? When I was young, I lived with my grandparents and I was told so many times that I have to greet every elder I met respectfully. So I will give you some tips on how to make proper greetings, okay? So when you say 안녕하세요, your posture is really important. You should bow instead of waving them, okay? And when greeting people at the interview or in a formal situation, bring your hands to the center in front of you and bend forward slightly as you greet them, just like this. Okay? So if you greet politely as Lee Jung-jae did on talk show, you will look cooler and more dignified. Even in a casual setting, it is still a good idea to bow your head a little bit. 안녕하세요, 안녕하세요 with smile. Also, the impression you make changes depending on how you say the yo at the end. I think I have the habit of saying 안녕하세요 instead of 안녕하세요. And I think women usually pronounce yo as 여 and also drag the end of the words a bit. Some people think that it's cute to do so. On the other hand, saying 안녕하십니까 feels very formal. Usually news announcers say 여러분 안녕하십니까 and they greet. If you want to seem more polite, like an expert, then try saying like this. 안녕하십니까? 안녕하십니까? I prefer to use less formal greeting like this. 안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. Next, there are two ways to introduce your name, which are the formal and informal method. So I will start with the formal way. When saying your name, you start with 제 이름은 or 저는. 제 이름은 헬레나입니다. 저는 헬레나입니다. And another commonly used expression is 저는 헬레나라고 합니다. Personally, when I'm in a formal environment and have to introduce myself to many people, I say 안녕하세요. 제 이름은 헬레나입니다. And when I'm in a more private setting, I say 안녕하세요. 헬레나라고 합니다. As you can see, the 저는 is often omitted in Korean conversation. However, in English, almost all sentences requires a subject. Therefore, native English speakers often use 저는 frequently when speaking. So, I'll give you tips. When you are in a less formal setting and are introducing yourself, you can omit 저는 and just introduce yourself simply like this. 안녕하세요, 헬레나입니다. 안녕하세요 and your name, 입니다. This is more natural and make your Korean skills seem much better. So, give it a try. If you want to use the less formal method to introduce yourself, you just change the ending of your sentence. You can say 저는 헬레나예요 or 제 이름은 헬레나예요 instead of 입니다. Use 이에요, 예요. If you don't know which of ending form to use, then watch this video or this video. Alright, for a short introduction, you greet and say your name, and that's it. In such cases, you can add 만나서 반갑습니다 or 반갑습니다 means nice to meet you, like this. 안녕하세요, 헬레나라고 합니다. 만나서 반갑습니다. From now on, I'll tell you what to include in your introduction when you are in a formal setting and have to give a longer self-introduction. For private setting, when you greet and say your name, it starts a conversation. So in most cases, you answer whatever questions your partner asks you about yourself. So let's take a look at some questions you might be asked. 어느 나라 사람이에요? 어디에서 왔어요? When you're joining a small group for the first time, this is one of the questions you will most likely hear. It is asking, where are you from? There are two ways to answer this question. 미국 사람이에요. I'm American. Or 미국에서 왔어요. I'm from the US. For the first way, you say nation plus 사람이에요. For example, 필리핀 사람이에요. 인도 사람이에요. 영국 사람이에요. For the second, you say name of country or region plus 에서 왔어요. For example, 인도에서 왔어요. 제주도에서 왔어요. 부산에서 왔어요. If you have to give a more formal introduction, just change the ending to 씁니다 and say 미국 사람입니다. 미국에서 왔습니다. You can even say your name and your hometown in the same sentence. 저는 미국에서 온 KT라고 합니다. 저는 독일에서 온 다니엘이라고 합니다. So using this expression when you're introducing yourself will make you sound more fluent and show that you are good at Korean. You may also get a question about your place of residence. For instance, 지금 어디에 살아요? Or 어디에 사세요? This sentence can have two meanings. One is asking which area you currently live in, and the other is asking about your type of residence. Let's start by answering where it is located. For such question, you can reply, 서울에 살아요. You can also say, 서울에 살고 있어요. The question that often follows this is 한국에 온 지 얼마나 됐어요? Or 서울에 산 지 얼마나 됐어요? You can answer 한 달 됐어요. 6개월 됐어요. Or 1년 됐어요. The pattern is the amount of time plus 됐어요. And if you want to say that a bit more time has passed, you can say 한 달 조금 넘었어요. Or 세 달 조금 넘었어요. On the other hand, you can say 한 달 조금 안 됐어요. Or 1년 조금 안 됐어요. If you understand this pattern, you can use it to answer several questions like 한국어 공부한 지 얼마나 됐어요? 엄마 안 본 지 얼마나 됐어요? K-pop 좋아한 지 얼마나 됐어요? So studying it should be very useful, right? Now let's talk about the type of resistance. For foreigners who are traveling to Korea, some good answers to give include 호텔에서 지내요. 게스트하우스에서 지내요. Here, 지내요 is used instead of 살아요 because 살아요 means to live, while on the other hand, 지내요 means to spend time. 지내요 is often used to describe a temporary state or a short-term period of time. If you are not a tourist, then you can say 아파트에서 살아요, 원룸에서 살아요, or 고시원에서 살아요. Type of accommodation plus 에서 살아요. You can also say your area and type of resistance together. For example, 종로에 있는 호텔에서 지내요. 홍대에 있는 고시원에서 살아요. Great! Now, the person you are speaking with may ask questions like 무슨 일 하세요? 직업이 뭐예요? 학생이세요? Or 직장인이세요? The way to reply with what you do is the most simple. Just 학생이에요. 영어 선생님이에요. 사진 작가예요. 프리랜서예요. Just like that. All you have to say is your job and 이에요, 예요. Or you could talk about what company you work at. 커피숍에서 일해요. 삼성에서 일해요. 집에서 일해요. Just add 에서 일해요 to the name of your company or the place that you work. So if you are a student, you will often be asked what your major is. Like this. 전공이 뭐예요? When asked that, you can answer 제 전공은 블라블라예요. 제 전공은 역사학이에요. 제 전공은 영문학이에요. Or you can say 건축학을 공부하고 있어요. 미술사를 공부하고 있어요. The other way to give more detail is to say what role you play at your company. 서강대학교에서 조교로 일해요. And 카페에서 바리스타로 일해요. When speaking about a role, we use the ro로 파리크. 알파 코리안 클래스에서 한국어 선생님으로 일하고 있어요. If you have to speak at a formal location, simply change the ending to 입니다. For example, 저는 사진작가입니다. 대학병원에서 일하고 있습니다. Sometimes you will have to talk about your work experience, especially during job interview. At such times, you can say, 저는 5년 동안 사진작가로 일했습니다. 10년 동안 영어 선생님으로 일했습니다. 3년 동안 구글에서 일했습니다. So use the expression length of time plus 동안 at the beginning of your sentence. Including both the length of time and location in your sentence inspires more confidence in what you say. 저는 5년 동안 뉴욕에서 사진작가로 일했습니다. 저는 10년 동안 중학교에서 영어 선생님으로 일했습니다. Like this, time 동안, where에서, what kind of job으로 일했습니다. Good. Now, let's talk about hobbies. 주말에 뭐해요? 보통 쉬는 날 뭐 하세요? 취미가 뭐예요? 뭐 하는 거 좋아해요? These are asking the same thing. Your hobby. If you answer with 제 취미는 독서입니다. It could sound a bit strange. Starting your sentence with 제 취미는 blah blah입니다. It's good for the presentation, but it might seem like you're writing instead of speaking, you know? So here's the expression I suggest you go with. 저는 등산을 좋아합니다. 저는 쇼핑을 좋아합니다. Saying it this way sounds much more natural. If you just change the ending like 저는 등산을 좋아해요. 저는 뭐뭐 하는 걸 좋아해요. You can make it sentence more casual for less formal conversation. 저는 요리하는 거 좋아해요. 책 읽는 거 좋아해요. 운동하는 거 좋아해요. 영화 보는 거 좋아해요. 여행 가는 거 좋아해요. Finally, we have to talk about age. If you look young, you might get questions like 몇 살이세요? 실례지만 나이가 어떻게 되세요? 실례지만 나이를 여쭤봐도 될까요? Okay, let's try to answer them. We usually say 21살이에요. 27살이에요. 32살이에요. Using the expression blah blah 살이에요. However, if you don't want to say what your exactly age is, it's okay to use the expressions 초반, 중반, 후반. 20대 초반이에요. 30대 중반이에요. 40대 후반이에요. Just like that. You could also just say what decade you are in, such as 30대예요. 60대예요. And I know there are times when people don't want to tell their age, right? If you don't want to answer, I'll give you a tip. You can turn the question to them. 몇 살로 보이세요? When they make a few guesses, you can laugh and say, 진짜요? And make a mischievous expression and say, 비밀이에요. Alright, now I'll show you a few self-introduction samples. First, let's assume that I'm giving a short introduction in a meeting with Koreans. 안녕하세요, 헬레나라고 합니다. 저는 유튜브에서 한국어를 가르치고 있어요. 반갑습니다. Easy, right? For the next one, let's assume that I'm an American in my early 20s who has come to Korea for a language program. If the teacher asked me to introduce myself at the beginning of the class, 안녕하세요. 저는 미국에서 온 헬레나라고 합니다. 나이는 21살이고 뉴욕 대학교에서 영어를 공부하고 있어요. 만나서 반갑습니다. For the last one, let's assume I'm an Australian woman in my late 20s who is looking for a job. 안녕하세요. 저는 호주에서 온 헬레나라고 합니다. 시드니 대학교에서 마케팅을 전공했고 5년 동안 호주에 있는 글로벌 마케팅 회사에서 일했습니다. Okay? Yeah, I'm so excited to have you on board for this challenge. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and drop a comment below. And also make sure to share it with your buddies who are up for the challenge. Can't wait to see you in the next practice video. And see you later. 안녕.